A lonely man finds comfort in a daily visit from an animal, only to uncover a startling and shocking revelation that turns his world upside down. Mick, an older man filled with bitterness and sorrow, had endured many hardships, far more than anyone should ever bear. Tragically, he lost his wife and daughter in a devastating car accident. Overwhelmed by grief, he sought solace in alcohol and substance abuse. Although he eventually overcame his addictions, he lost his job and was compelled to leave behind their once lovely, spacious family home in the city. Settling into a small, rustic cabin deep in the woods, Mick grappled with challenging times. Abandoned by his friends and lacking a significant remaining family, Mick's profound loneliness was evident to everyone, even if he never openly admitted it. Living alone in his secluded cabin, far removed from the bustling outside world, Mick led a solitary existence. He sustained himself as a freelance writer, taking on assignments from various companies. Rarely going into the city except for essential grocery and supply runs, he embraced this reclusive life, convincing himself that he found solace in it. Little did he know, life was about to take an unexpected turn. One day, as Mick sat engrossed in his work at the laptop, he was startled by a soft yet persistent tapping sound. Breaking the usual silence, it jolted him from his concentration. Turning around, he scanned the cabin, but everything appeared undisturbed. Blaming it on the gentle breeze, he returned to his writing. However, to his surprise, the tapping resumed, this time louder and more intentional. Intrigued and slightly unnerved, Mick stood up and began to explore the cabin, determined to uncover the source of the mysterious noise. He turned the handle and opened the door, only to find an empty threshold. As he was about to close the door, puzzled, something caught his attention. He glanced down and nearly let out a surprised yelp. There sat an otter, its wise gaze fixed upon him. The creature appeared older, with a coat of fur speckled with silvery gray hairs. It tapped the door frame again before shifting its focus downward, revealing a small, perfectly round pebble at its feet. As if presenting a gift, the otter picked up the pebble and placed it just inside the doorway at Mick's feet. A smile crept across Mick's face as he quickly dashed to the kitchen. Returning with a small piece of fruit, he offered it to the otter, which happily accepted and began munching away. Satisfied, the otter then leisurely wandered back toward the lake, gradually disappearing from Mick's sight. Mick found the encounter peculiar, but dismissed it as a singular event. However, in the following days, the otter returned repeatedly, always bearing a pebble as a token. It would enjoy a small meal provided by Mick, before bidding farewell, establishing a delightful and endearing connection between Mick and the diminutive creature. As the days turned into weeks, Mick, the once bitter and sad man, found his spirits lifting as he eagerly anticipated the daily visits from his newfound companion. As the sun rose, Mick would awaken each morning to discover a new, unique stone placed delicately on his porch. Accompanied by the rhythmic tapping of the otter against the door, this ritual never captured Mick's attention. With a warm heart, he would offer the otter its breakfast, which could vary from bread, cereal, fruit, or even leftovers from the previous night. The otter, undisturbed by the particular dish, would devour the delectable meal enthusiastically, although its absolute favorite was tuna. Mick's delight in this unexpected friendship grew so much that he couldn't resist capturing the precious moments. He snapped numerous photos and recorded videos, documenting the endearing encounters. Filled with excitement, Mick shared his heartwarming story by submitting the visual documentation to the local news website. These platforms always had a soft spot for local tales, especially those involving wildlife, making it a delightful bonus. Soon after the story of Mick and the otter was published, he received a phone call from a curious reporter who wanted to learn more about the otter and its visits to Mick's cabin. The story created a buzz in the usually tranquil corner of the world, drawing attention and sparking interest. The following day, Mick discovered that people were contacting him, seeking information about the otter. Some had questions, while others simply wanted to express gratitude for his care and guardianship of the local wildlife. Mick's life had taken a fascinating and completely unexpected turn, and he couldn't have been happier. The company and companionship the otter provided brought him genuine joy. One morning, as Mick followed his usual coffee preparation routine, he glanced out the window that offered a view of the serene lake. He anticipated the sight of the little otter bounding up the bank and heading toward his cabin, tapping its paws against the door to get his attention. However, to Mick's surprise, there was no sign of the otter. No sight, no sound. Initially, Mick found this absence rather peculiar, but didn't dwell on it too much. He reassured himself that the otter would arrive at some point, as it had before. Yet, hours turned into days, and still there was no sign of the otter's return. There were no footprints, no special pebbles left as tokens of friendship. Mick even placed a tin of tuna out as a gesture, but it remained untouched and unopened, except for the occasional bird swooping down to snatch a few morsels. Mick couldn't help but feel a sense of longing and concern for his little friend. He missed the otter's visits and the lively interactions they shared. The unexplained absence left a void in Mick's heart, and he wondered what might have become of the otter and why it had suddenly stopped coming. Uncertain of the otter's fate, Mick found himself yearning for the return of the enchanting creature that had brought such delight into his life. Filled with concern and a growing sense of urgency, Mick walked around the lake, hoping to glimpse his beloved otter friend. He traversed the surrounding area for hours, scanning the waters and shores, desperately searching for any sign of the adorable creature. Despite his efforts, the otter remained elusive, leaving Mick with a heavy heart. As Mick began his return journey, ascending the banking towards his house, his gaze caught a small figure in the far corner next to the drain pipe. A sinking feeling overwhelmed him as he approached the motionless shape. There lay the otter, its body still and peaceful. Mick's heart ached as he realized the otter had been there for several days, evident from its dry salt and pepper fur. It was apparent that the little creature had passed away. However, the object held in the otter's paw caught Mick's attention and stirred a wave of emotion within him. It was a pebble of a unique shape, unlike the usual rounded or jagged stones the otter had previously offered. This pebble was unmistakably heart-shaped, a poignant symbol of love. It became clear to Mick that the otter had carried this special token, intending to bring it to Mick's door before its untimely demise, never letting go of it, even in its final moments. Tears welled up in Mick's eyes as he knelt beside his departed friend, overcome with grief and gratitude. He gently held the otter's lifeless body, cherishing their bittersweet memories. Though the otter's time had ended, the love and connection they had forged would forever remain etched in Mick's heart. Mick ensured that his dear friend received a proper and heartfelt burial. He tenderly dug a hole near the porch of his house, overlooking the serene lake where the otter had once thrived. With great reverence, Mick laid the otter to rest in this special spot. To honor their bond and cherish memories, Mick carefully arranged all the stones he had collected from the otter in a neat and commemorative pile at the head of the grave. However, the story did not end in sadness. The heartwarming tale of the otter had captured the attention of many, creating a community of newfound admirers. To Mick's surprise, he had also formed deep friendships with these individuals who had become otter fans. Inspired by the connections they had forged through shared admiration, Mick began to venture out of the forest and into the city, visiting his new friends and inviting them to his cabin. Together, they would spend quality time sharing laughter and stories. Mick even took them to the otter's final resting place, where they paid their respects. As a result, Mick's days became filled with meaningful interactions, and his life blossomed with happiness and love. He could never fully express his gratitude for the joy and companionship that had entered his life. All of it was made possible by the presence of that one little old otter that had chosen to keep a lonely old man company. In the end, Mick's story reminds us of the transformative power of friendship, the healing nature of shared connections, and the profound impact that even the smallest creatures can have on our lives. What do you think of this incredible story? Let us know in the comments section below. See you next time. Bye for now.